Hi, I'm Sarah Jane from SiliconeMoulds.com, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to do coloured chocolates. That's like novelty chocolates for Christmas decorations or children's gifts or just gift boxes. Solid chocolates with coloured detail so that you've got them in 2 and 3 tone. We purposely make our own range of silicone moulds that have layered detail on them so that you can put in different layers of colouring so that your finished product is really rather eye-catching. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, the very first thing that we're going to do before we start making chocolate is make some paper piping bags. These are essential when working with small volumes of coloured chocolate for getting it to go exactly where you want it to go and getting a fine, precise point. It's also much cheaper than buying them. For this you're going to need some baking parchment, some greaseproof paper or silicone baking paper, and basically what we want is 2 triangles. So first, basically the bigger the piping bag you want, the bigger the triangle. So first of all, what I'm going to do is fold my paper over to maybe about 8 inches. So I have a rectangle. And then I'm going to cut that off with a pair of scissors, just up the side. Making a hash of this. Oh, come on. Okay. Right. We want a square, which is 2 triangles, and we want equilateral triangles, which have 2 equal sides and 1 shorter side. So if you bring the corner of your paper up and fold it over, we there have 2 triangles here, plus a flappy extra bit at the end. So if you just turn this over and fold it like so, we can then trim this piece off. We've now got 2 triangles folded in half. We're going to cut that into 2 pieces. I'd always suggest that you start with about 6 of these paper piping bags before you start making your chocolate, because you're going to need quite a few of them. You're either going to burst them, you're going to change colour, you're going to want a finer tip on it, so have them prepared in advance. I'm going to bring the camera around behind me so you can see a close-up of what I'm doing. Okay, so we have our paper triangles. We've got 2 sides that are equal length and 1 long end. What we're going to do is just turn it over so the shiny side is on the outside. Bring 1 corner over and up to the point and hold it. If we hold that there and take the other point and roll it round and underneath and bring it up to meet the other ones. And go straighten it out. There's our simple cone. Now we want to fold the ends over 2 or 3 times to secure. And there we have, that's our disposable paper cones. I'd suggest you want to make about 6 of these before we get started. Okay, so we're now going to melt our chocolate. I've just got some white Belgian chocolate in here. It's couverture chocolate, which means it's already been tempered. When we melt this, as long as we keep it under 90 degrees Fahrenheit, it will retain temper, so we won't get any nasty white streaky marks or grittiness or anything like that in it. To colour the chocolate, we're going to use some special colours for chocolate which are oil based rather than water based. These are special candy or chocolate colourings, and these particular ones are made by Wilton. You do specifically want to buy the colours that are meant for chocolate. Ordinary colours will not work. So what we're going to do is put this in the microwave for 10 seconds at a time. No more than that, because we want to make sure that the chocolate doesn't get too hot. seconds, you want to take your chocolate out. Destroy the inside of the microwave. And use a plastic or a silicone spatula to give it a stir. At first, it won't look as if it's melting at all. The whole point in using a plastic or silicone spatula is because if you use a wooden one, any moisture that may be in the wood can leach out into your actual chocolate and make it seize, which is something that we don't want because there's no point in putting good chocolate in the bin. So just take our chocolate out again and give it another quick stir. You can't see, but it's starting to get slightly tacky. Okay, so I've just taken the chocolate out of the microwave. It's had about 5 or 6 10-second bursts and giving it a good stir because it's mainly molten now to make sure we get rid of any lumps and it's all nicely combined. If your chocolate gets too hot, you would actually need to temper it again with a thermometer, which means taking it up to about 115 degrees Fahrenheit and then using extra new unmelted chocolate to stir it in and help the chocolate recrystallize until it gets to about 84 degrees Fahrenheit before you can actually use it. But as this isn't too hot, it will remain in temper. Right, so I'm just going to give that a mix through. By using the plastic bowl, there's no residual heat in the bowl. If you use something like a hard porcelain or china bowl or a glass bowl even, it will retain the heat. So once you've taken it out of the microwave, it's going to continue to heat the chocolate, which is what we don't want. Now we've got some nicely melted, smooth white chocolate in here, a few air bubbles, but nothing to worry about at this stage. And we're going to colour it. We want to colour in very, very small amounts. So what I've got here to start with is I've just got a that I can colour a small amount of chocolate in. And what we're going to do to start with is I've got a Christmas pudding mould here that you can probably see all the detail. We can do the berry in red, and then we can do the leaves in green, and then we can do the next part in white chocolate, and finally the base layer in milk. For each colour at least, we're going to need a piping bag. You're also going to need some cocktail sticks. There's a lot of items on a small work surface, but never mind. Now, what I'm going to do is take a very small amount of the white chocolate into my plastic dish, and on this I am going to colour it with some red. Right, use a cocktail stick to put some of this colouring into the white chocolate to achieve the colour that you want. That's a bit much because I kind of half poured it out rather than scooped it in. And then mix it thoroughly. Now I'm going to put this cocktail stick on the side on a piece of wax paper because I don't want to get it all over everything. I've got a teaspoon here and I'm just going to mix it in. You can see that's going to become lovely and red in there. Don't need much, we're only going to need a couple of teaspoons. To be honest, we don't even need 1 teaspoon, but we want a couple of teaspoonfuls of the chocolate in our piping bag so that we can have something to move. I'm going to just spin that, the mixed stuff that is, into my piping bag. Like I said. Now, if we just fold the corners over, sorry, I'm left-handed, so it's probably a bit difficult to see. Fold the corners in, fold the top in, we're then ready to pipe. So you just hold the top in, put a bit of pressure in, and it will start coming at the bottom. We've got a lot of air in here because there's not an awful lot of chocolate. Now, because that's such a fine point, we need to cut the tip off with the scissors. We want a tiny, tiny, tiny bit off the edge. You can always take another bit off, but you can't put it back on. And I'm going to test that on my silicone mat here. There we are, just the tiniest amount. Now I'm just going to pipe that into the actual cells of the mould. Just in the actual area we want it to, fill that part. There we are, that's the red berry on that one. There's not enough light here, I need to turn it around to see what I'm doing. And a red berry there. 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 Now this mould now has to be left for that colour to set before you do the next colour. If you have any extra left, I'd suggest something like our silicone button mould, which is really popular little mould, that you can pipe any excess colour into so that you can make nice pretty colourful chocolate buttons. You will find that the ends of these piping bags, if you've got a tiny, tiny hole, will clog up quite quickly. And the chocolate is also going to start to set quite quickly because we're dealing with such a small quantity. So just pipe that into the cell and give it a tap. And take a little bit bigger bit off. And put it into a bigger cell. There we are, and just fill that up. Now to level it with ease, all you do is give it a little flick and a tap, and it'll almost self-level. A little bit more. There we go. And another one. There's no point in wasting it, is there, if we can actually use it for something else. These make really nice, pretty little buttons for on top of cupcake toppers or in a mixed colour bag. And tap it again, and there you can see it's nice and level. These need to set, left to set. You can put them into the fridge for 5 minutes. If you have one. I don't have one here because I'm in at work and the new kitchen isn't set up at all yet. We've still to build the walls. Or otherwise you're just going to have to let it sit and actually just harden. I've got a few of these wee tiny ones, but not enough for any more big ones. So that's the red colour done. I'm now going to prepare, give the white chocolate a little mix again and start to prepare some green ready for the green layer. That chocolate's going off already, it'll be ready in